Hi, I'm Jerry Seinfeld, and our show is moving to a new day and time, Thursdays at 9:30 following Cheers.
Does that mean they'll pay me as much as Ted Danson?
No, it doesn't.
Who's Ted Danson?
He's somebody.
What about me?
You're nobody.
I'm just as good as him.
No, you're not. You're very, very bad.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear and then discuss them over a glass of wine. Or we're kind of like branching out into new territory here. We are trying to like become morning people.
I think we are. I think we've tricked ourselves into this pattern.
So instead of wine, we are drinking coffee, and I am drinking out of my Batman mug. Dark night, bright morning?
Mine's not that fancy.
So I'm Patrick M. Dunn. You probably know me from the previous episodes. And I'm joined here, as always, by accomplished author, Catherine Halstead.
Yes, you may call me Catherine.
Yes, you may call her Catherine. She is on a rampage this week. We have reached out to the other A Very Special Podcast. They replied to us. It was like they cut and paste something off the internet and sent it to us. And you replied back very, very angrily, like capital letters, exclamation points.
There were not capital letters. They are lucky they did not get that. I think I drafted about 15 versions before I finally got to the point where I wasn't calling them fucking dickweeds and maggots and all kinds of lovely things.
We are still fighting this battle, so support us by leaving us reviews, a 5-star review on iTunes. Just search for A Very Special Podcast. Click on the one that has a TV and the Brady Bunch logo, please.
Yes, it's that fun Sherwood Schwartz type font.
Yes, and if you leave us a funny review, if you make me laugh, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast, and we might even send you like a Christmas ornament. I think I have like 2 lying around somewhere that'll send to you.
He's just obsessed with the Christmas ornaments, people.
I know it's not in season right now, but it'll come around before you know it. What are we doing tonight? What classic TV series from yesteryear are we diving into?
We are doing the iconic pop culture. Oh my god. Like, this is just like one of the greatest TV series in the entire world. It has probably the highest rewatchability of anything.
Even more than I Love Lucy?
Yes.
Okay. You heard it here first.
Yeah, at least for me. We're doing Seinfeld, the parking garage.
Yes, and also shout out to my Cosmo Kramer t-shirt that I wore in 9th grade, written in the Calvin Klein font.
In the Calvin Klein font?
Yeah, it looks like the Calvin Klein logo, but it says Cosmo Kramer instead of Calvin Klein.
There's no way you wore that in the 9th grade.
Oh, hell yeah, I did. I bought it at the specialty t-shirt at the mall. I got it for like $9.99 in like 96 maybe.
I don't think we knew Kramer's name yet.
Dude, I started watching Seinfeld when I was in 9th grade, and I went to the mall and saw that shirt, and I bought it for $9.99 at specialty tees in the Hanover Mall, Massachusetts.
You're like very specific about this, so I'm gonna let you have this.
I know for a fact. Because I remember it was like days before 9th grade started. I was going into high school and I was like nervous as fuck. And my mom wanted me to buy a Calvin Klein shirt. And I was like, no, I'm buying a Cosmo Kramer shirt. And I remember like I got so many like comments on it. Like a lot of people were like, wow, I love your shirt. Like it's like a knock at big business. And I also get to tip my hat to my new favorite show of that time. Because like The Simpsons like shaped my young life pre-15. But Seinfeld is like teenage years and on for me.
So you didn't start watching it until the 9th grade?
No, I was like a late adapter to this. Like it was already in syndication for like a few years before I actually started watching this.
Wow.
Yeah, like I don't even think I watched new episodes until I was the final season maybe. I think that's when I finally like caught up to everything.
Oh, wow. Like I started, I know exactly the episode I first saw, which is the BO one. Where they're in the car and they're like, what is this smell?
Oh, yeah.
And I was probably in like 6th grade, 7th grade, maybe?
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, like,
6th grade.
the show begat in 1989. It had like a long-ass life. So it ran from 1989 to 1998. And like, it didn't really pick up steam for a while, though.
Yeah, it actually was kind of one of those quiet shows that built its following. It got shifted around a while.
Yeah, the first season is absolutely horrible. I can't even watch any of those episodes.
The first season is just so weird, especially when you sit and watch that pilot episode without Elaine, and you're just like, how did this make this on the air?
Yeah, Kramer is Kessler is his name in the...
No, his name is Kramer.
No, Google it right now. Like his name was originally supposed to be Kessler because...
Yeah, that might have been what his name was originally supposed to be, but in the pilot, he is Kramer.
Because Larry David was friends with a guy named, I think his name was Kenny Kramer, and he initially he wouldn't give the rights to Larry David, like he wouldn't let him use his last name, so he came up with the name Kessler. And then like after they started filming, they were like, all right, you can use Kramer, and then so they had to like change everything for the next set of episodes.
But I'm actually wondering if Jerry actually says his name.
All right, in the pilot episode for Seinfeld, Kramer's name was Kessler. The discrepancy was the basis of a joke in the episode The Betrayal. There is a flashback to when Jerry and Kramer first meet. When introducing himself to Kramer, Jerry says, "Oh, I saw your name on the board downstairs, Kessler, right?" To which Kramer responds, "Actually, it's Kramer." But I don't think Kramer was in the pilot a lot. I think it's mostly George and Jerry.
Yeah, it's mostly George and Jerry.
So the Parking Garage episode initially aired on October 30th, 1991. It was a Wednesday night, a rare Wednesday night showing of Seinfeld, way before it was part of the illustrious must-see TV Thursday night lineup.
Yeah, like it's not... Wednesday was not your night for sitcoms on NBC at all.
It got its start in the bougie, dirtier cousin to Thursday Wednesday night slot, which is like where NBC would like stick its like struggling sitcoms and like the ones that they're like aging out, like the ones they want to cancel soon.
Yes, I'm actually like really curious to try and figure out what the heck I was watching.
Should we go over what was on that night?
Let's do it.
I kind of was looking at this, and I don't think I watched anything this night, to be honest with you. So Wednesday, October 30th, 1991. Let's start with ABC. You want to start with them? All right. ABC kicked off the night with Dinosaurs, which is probably what you were watching, I'm guessing.
That's 100% what I was watching, Dinosaurs.
Maybe I was too, but I don't think I watched Dinosaurs all the time. But Dinosaurs was a Michael Jacobs joint in a partnership with Jim Henson, and I think Disney had their dirty hands in the pot as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we know I'm, like, wild about a Michael Jacobs show. Like, I just go for them.
Where does Dinosaurs fit into this with you?
Like, when it was on, I loved it. It was on Netflix a few years ago, and I started rewatching it, but it didn't pull me in to, like, rewatch it binge it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Dinosaurs since it initially ended its run.
Like, I just really remember... Not the mama!
Yeah, Baby Sinclair is the breakout character. He stands out. For those who don't know, for all those millennials out there who are just learning about this stuff for the first time, Dinosaurs was set in prehistoric time. It was like about these like Muppet-like creatures who lived on the continent of Pangea, which was like all the continents combined.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Supposedly, we are drifting. North America is drifting.
I know.
Where will we end up? Who knows? The series focused around the Sinclair family. So Earl is the dad, Fran is the mother, and their children Robbie, Charlene, and Baby, the aforementioned Baby Sinclair. And fun fact, Jessica Walter was the voice of Fran, the mom.
Really?
Yes, and Sally Struthers did the voice of Charlene, the middle daughter.
Yes, I knew that.
And this one shocked me. Law and Order SVU bad boy Christopher Maloney voiced Spike, one of Robbie's friends on the show.
Okay.
Wild guest voices on Dinosaurs. I just remember the final episode like took place like during the dinosaur apocalypse.
Yeah, everybody froze out, and there's like the TV news guys like it's the end.
And it's all Earl Sinclair's fault. I think he was, like, responsible for it because he worked for some, like, oil company or something, I think it was.
Yeah, he worked for, like, some deforestation company or something, and, like, they knocked down too many trees.
What was he? Like, he was, like a Stegosaurus, maybe?
No, he wasn't a Stegosaurus. He was on 2 legs.
Well, they all were on 2 legs.
But they were all different kinds of dinosaurs.
Yeah, they kind of did the Munsters thing, where they're each, like, a different breed of them.
I think he was maybe... I don't know.
Like, he was, like, a stocky... So I'm, like, pretty sure he was supposed to be an anthropomorphic Stegosaurus.
Yeah.
All right, so following Dinosaurs, are you ready for what was following Dinosaurs?
Okay, give it to me.
All right, we've talked about this fairly recently. The Wonder Years.
I had a feeling that was probably on that night because it was still on then.
Which was a lighthearted, quote-unquote, dramedy about coming of age in the late 60s, early 70s suburban America. I was able to find out what episode was on this night. It was one called Full Moon Rising. And this was Kevin's friend Ricky becomes the first of his friends to turn 16 and get their driver's license. Actually, Kevin cancels his weekend date to cruise in a car with the guys and pick up chicks.
Kevin Arnold! Come on, dude. See, this is why you didn't end up with Winnie Cooper, Kevin.
Like, this is definitely probably that time when it's post-Kevin Winnie breakup era.
Yeah, this is probably when he was too short to be with Winnie.
In the Wonder Years episode, did we talk about how Kevin and Winnie never ended up together?
I honestly don't remember what we talked about other than we made fun of Robin Thicke.
I feel like I had this conversation with you. Like, you were so shook that they never ended up together. And I was just like, Winnie Cooper's overrated.
Yeah, we had the conversation. It's like when you're watching How I Met Your Mother and he doesn't, like, the mother dies. Spoiler alert. But he's talking about this great love of his life. Just like Ted's talking about Robin the whole time. You expect them to get together.
But guess what? People don't always end up with their high school sweethearts and the people that they stalk.
Exactly.
Welcome to reality, Kat. Sorry that they pulled the rug out from underneath you.
Well, I think it was like the first time it really, like, that was one of those first pairings, like, where you thought they were, they were going to be together. Because, like, they had this whole, like, they lost their virginities to each other in the final episode. And that it's like, oh yeah, my wife and I picked her up from the airport. It's like, wait, back it up. Hold up. What?
Well, I was happy because I hated Winnie Cooper. She sucked. Good for Kevin Arnold for finally escaping that fucking wrath of Winnie.
Patrick!
All right. Following the Wonder Years is America's famous teenage doctor, Doogie Howser, MD.
Hey, we've done Doogie as well.
Which is a show that was near and dear to my heart, but it's hard to watch as an adult. I don't know why. It's like not the same for me for some reason.
It is hard to watch. But it has one of the most comforting theme songs ever.
It does. It really does. It's that kind of like Casio keyboard-ish type noise.
I think probably some of the most comforting theme songs are, of course, the Cheers theme, the Golden Girls theme, Doogie Howser.
What? I wouldn't put it like in top 5.
Oh, hold on. You're gonna really hate me for this next one, okay?
All right.
ER.
ER. No, I like the ER. Like, it has a sense of importancy, a sense of urgency. It really is fitting. And
there's something about it, though, where you also know you're about to watch a quality episode of television.
Are you ready for what was following Doogie Howser? This is wild.
I don't think I can handle it.
You don't think you can handle what was following Doogie Howser?
I'm not sure I can. Hit me with it.
All right, this is wild. I vaguely remember this, but I do remember it being on. I just didn't know the name of it. Are you familiar with Anything But Love?
Starring Jamie Lee Curtis and that guy.
Richard Lewis.
Yes.
So this was like a strange phenomenon. So it was launched in 1989 as a mid-season replacement. Richard Lewis and Jamie Lee Curtis, they play co-workers who worked at a swanky Chicago magazine. And they had this like shared mutual attraction to each other, but they were like trying to keep their relationship strictly professional. And they probably like ended up sleeping with each other a few times here and there and stuff. But it struggled. Like, this show struggled to stay afloat all these years. Like, it was on for 4 seasons. I don't even think it ever had like a full season every year. Like, it always like came back like in March-ish.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're talking about October here.
Yeah. Well, I think it came back this year early, but like I don't think it had a full season though, because there's only like 50 episodes of it, and it was on for 4 years.
That's like basically just over 2 seasons.
ABC was always retooling this show. Like, every year it came back, it had like new supporting cast members.
Of course, back then, nobody thought you'd be rewatching these things, like, binging them.
But surprisingly, the show wasn't canceled by ABC. It was canceled by the production company, 20th Century Fox.
Really?
Like, after 56 episodes, they were like, this is awful. Like, I think ABC wanted to try to push it to get to the magic 100 so they can, like, syndicate it. But 20th Century Fox is like, we're way too incoherent. The cast changes every year. No one's really going to get into this. People are just going to, like, not watch this after an episode of Charles in Charge at 5 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, there's only one thing I really remember from the show, and it's a scene. The 2 characters have, like, been together for the first time, and Jamie Lee Curtis is like, oh my god, I fell asleep during it? Like, that's all I remember. Like, I watched it. I know I watched it. I don't know why I watched it. Why did I watch this?
I definitely remember seeing this, like, in TV Guide.
Yeah, it was probably just, like, there. Like, you leave the TV on while you're pretending to do your math homework.
Well, it was on ABC. It was on the same block as Doogie Howser and Dinosaurs, so you probably just, like, dabbled in it, maybe?
Yeah, it's like when you get these weird TV show memories and you're like, I don't think I ever actually watched that, but how do I know this?
Yeah, it's like sometimes you would watch things that aired after Married with Children that never caught on, but you still have them in your memory for some reason. Can we talk about what was on after Anything But Love? This is wild. I've never heard of the show, but I am familiar with the person who created the show. We both are. We've talked about her. It's a show called Good and Evil. It's a Susan Harris helm series.
Okay.
The Lord and savior of our podcast favorites, such as The Golden Girls and other shows we haven't done yet, like Soap, Empty Nest, and Nurses.
Oh, Soap. That's another theme that's, like, super comforting.
Yes. Yeah, but Good and Evil was the comedic saga of two sisters. One was an heir to the family's cosmetic empire, and the other was a world-class scientist. So Terry Garr was the evil sister. She was like a cold-hearted bitch. She tried to use her fortune and fame to, like, get her own way.
Yeah.
And an actress named Margaret Whitten, she was in the movie Major League. That's the only thing I recognize her from. She was the good-hearted sister. She was recently widowed, and she was using her scientific knowledge to save the world from disease.
This is, like, heavy.
Yes. So, I think, like, they tried to mishmash comedy and drama. This is, like, still, like, pre the word dramedy.
Yeah.
Doogie Howser and the Wonder Years is pretty much a dramedy. And this, like, aired on the same night. I think, like, around this time is when TV execs, like let's, like, flip comedy upside down. And we got these type of shows that weren't multicam. All right, shall we talk about CBS?
Yeah, let's hear CBS.
All right.
What did CBS give us this evening?
CBS kicked things off with The Royal Family, a sitcom created by Eddie Murphy.
What?
Yes, this was to be the comeback vehicle for Red Fox of Sanford & Son fame, but shortly after they started working on the show, Red Fox died.
Oh, yikes.
Are you familiar with this? The story?
No, but it's happened to, like, several actors.
But this story's wild. So you know how on Sanford & Son, Red Fox's character would always, like, joke about having a heart attack? Like, he'd pretend to be having a heart attack?
He'd be like, I'm coming, Elizabeth!
And he would, like, grab his chest and, like, fall backwards.
Yeah.
So the cast was rehearsing, like, they were doing, like, a table read. And Red Fox started to have a heart attack during this. And he was, like, clutching his chest. And his cast members and, like, directors, everyone on the set thought he was, like, doing Sanford.
Oh my gosh.
So they just kind of, like, kept going along. And then they finally realized, like, he was in trouble, like, when he, like, collapsed on the ground. And they're like, oh shit, he really did have a heart attack. And he died, like, that night.
Oh my god, that's awful.
But they had, like, a few episodes already in the can. And, like, the show had already premiered. It had good numbers. It was, like, starting to become a hit for CBS. But they wanted to continue doing the show, but they couldn't just, like, stop for a few months, kind of, like, reconvene and figure things out.
Yeah, they had to do a little hiatus, like 8 Simple Rules did.
Yes. So they took a few months off. They hired Jackie Harris, Jackie.
Okay.
The show re-premiered, like, in March. I think, like, the premiere episode did okay. Like, it did good because people, like, wanted to see how things would wrap up. But then, like, it quickly went downhill from there, and, like, audience didn't take to it, and the show was canceled at the end of its first season. Like, I don't even think they finished airing all the episodes.
Yeah, probably not.
The same thing happened to 8 Simple Rules, too. Like, they brought in David Spade, and it did okay for a little bit, but...
Well, no, actually... Okay, so 8 Simple Rules had their first season.
With John Ritter.
Yeah, John Ritter. Everything was cool. They started filming the second season. It was, like, the 4th or 5th episode. He died.
Like, on the set.
On the set, yeah. And so they, like, paused. I think it was right before, like, the new season was supposed to premiere, too. And, you know, they decided if they wanted to continue, and they wanted to. So they kind of just pushed Katie Sagal up to the lead. And they brought in James Garner as her father, who moves in afterwards, because, you know, sometimes that happens. And then a few weeks later, they brought in David Spade as her nephew.
Yes.
And then it had another season after that.
The second season didn't really, like, catch on wildly, but the network still, like, pushed it for a little bit.
Yeah, the network gave them like the 3rd season, and then
Finally put it out of its misery.
it got canceled after that.
And then Kaylee Cuoco, whatever her name is, went on to do Charmed.
Yeah, she went into Charmed, and then she did The Big Bang Theory, and
Now she's a name. Now she has a name for herself.
Katie Sagal plays her mom on The Big Bang Theory.
Damn. What a world we live in. What a wild world.
Yeah.
Following this series, following the royal family, was the seminal classic that we always watch around Halloween time, The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Which everyone knows. Classic holiday special. Airs every October. We love it. We know it. Linus in a blankie.
Yes, I think I watched it about 30 times this year with the nephew.
Yes. It's always on videotape or DVD back in the day, and you would just watch it endlessly, and you probably pissed off your parents, just like your nephew's pissing you off, watching it over and over again. Are you ready for what was following The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown?
Yes, hit me with it.
All right, a show that I am aware of, but I never watched it, or I might have seen it, but I don't recall. Jake and the Fat Man!
Okay, my mom watched this, and I was just like, what is this show? I don't understand. I'm gonna go watch The Wonder Years.
It was like just like a crime drama. I think it was a prosecutor and investigator, and they just like teamed up and solved crime. And the first season took place in Los Angeles, but then Magnum PI ended its run, and I guess the network wanted to have like another show that took place in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So they moved production to Honolulu for a few years, and the show took place in Hawaii all of a sudden. And there was a little bit of tabloid gossip surrounding the show.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the actor Joe Penny, I think he played Jake, he lost a significant amount of weight during the show's run, and people speculated that he contracted AIDS and that he was dying of AIDS.
Oh my gosh.
But then like it just turned out he had like a gastrointestinal virus, and it caused him to lose a lot of weight, and then he just had trouble getting the weight back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's his life, so oof.
Damn tabloids. They're so nosy.
Do you want to know what was on after Jake and the Fat Man?
Yeah, tell me.
48 Hours.
Oh, my favorite.
All right, so 48 Hours.
Which is now a Saturday night staple and totally a part of Kat's.
You get to learn about like murder and missing people and people talking about stalkers, like Polly Perrette, like the infamous Polly Perrette episode that was just recently on.
Yes, like 2-parter that was just like terrifying. How the one guy didn't get caught until he like went after Ivanka Trump.
It's such a crazy story that they didn't have enough time to fit it into like 45 minutes.
Oh my god, well like the whole thing like there was like they were talking about different stalking victims like just as a whole. And there's the one like crazy guy who like stalks like 100 people, including like the one girl on there and like Ivanka Trump, and like the police couldn't find this guy, but 48 Hours found him and had like a Google call with him.
I love that. I love when these like crime dramas and like documentaries like just solve crimes, and it's like the police had like 10 years to do this. Yeah,
like nobody could find him, but like Aaron Moriarty from like 48 Hours found him, called him, he answered. He said something scary enough like during the little conversation that she contacted the cops. And they caught him. They like busted him for a little while, but then they released him because they didn't have anything to hold him on apparently.
Yeah, stalking laws are weird. They're strange.
Yeah, but then like he finally gets like in trouble because he got too close to Ivanka, and the Secret Service is the one that took him down.
I think he went after someone who had just enough money to actually like have something done about it.
No, like Ivanka is one of his like
targets,
top like 10 victims that he like goes after. Once like she had the Secret Service involved in protecting her, and he did something, they were like, nope, you're done. And then his mom is like interviewed, and she's like, I think he's just, a little troubled. And it's like, lady, the Secret Service just busted him.
He finally fucked around with the wrong family. Like Polly Perrette probably called the police a million times. And like, this fucking bitch calls every other weekend and someone's stalking her. Like, Jesus Christ, Polly Perrette, lose our number. But you fuck around with someone who has access to the Secret Service and you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're going to get thwarted. But like, yeah, stalking laws are weird because like the police are not going to do anything until like something horrible happens. And then it's going to be like, wait, they're going to look back at everything that happened that led up to this. And it's like, hold on, he's been stalking this girl for like 10 years. No one ever did anything. No one ever said anything. But like, it doesn't become an issue until like someone actually physically gets harmed or hurt or kidnapped or murdered.
Exactly.
And then it's like, what constitutes as stalking? Like Google searching? Like it's such a gray area.
Yeah, they've just got to figure out, like that's the part of it is Because you get, like, the ones who don't, like, just go off the handle, like, right away. Like, before, like, the celebrity even knows or the person really, like, knows what's going on. But it's still stalking.
Yeah, it's like this person just gets weird tweets for a few months, then all of a sudden the tweets turn into, like, written letters sent to their P.O. box, and then it's just like, hold on, they like, found out, like, my phone number. Now they're sending me texts. They're sending me dick pics. All right, shall we talk about NBC?
Yeah, give me NBC. Give it to me, baby.
All right, kind of keeping up with the creepy theme. We get things kick off at 8 with Unsolved Mysteries.
Our favorite show.
Which I just read that they were talking about possibly bringing it back for new episodes, which they've tried in the past, though.
Okay, this is where they messed up in the past. Dennis Farina, was that his name?
Yes.
He didn't have the right presence.
He didn't have, like, that ominous tone in his voice that Robert Stack had.
Yeah, it didn't have the same, he could take you out of the episode. Like, you didn't get lost in this creepy kind of thing.
Okay, and it was on Lifetime, I believe, wasn't it?
It was, like, on Lifetime and Spike TV.
Yeah, it was, like, very cheaply produced, very, like, quickly put together. They didn't really give it enough. They didn't put enough effort as they did in the original series, which is still ridiculous in itself.
They just took out Robert Stack and put in Dennis Farina, and were like, maybe we've got an update.
They need to find, like, a way to recreate Robert Stack's voice.
They have to find somebody who has the same presence. They're trustworthy, but they've got that, like, ominous tone.
Do you know who would work? Because he scares the fuck out of me, and he would totally work in this.
Who?
Actor Michael Shannon. He played Zod in Man of Steel.
I don't think I've seen that.
Just like Google him, and then just try to, like, find him with dialogue, like find him talking. He's the scariest man, like, living man on Earth. Like, if I saw him walking toward me, I would cross the street.
Okay, I'll do that later.
So, Michael Shannon for Unsolved Mysteries Update. You heard it here first. All right, you ready for an hour of comedy?
Yeah.
All right, things kicked off with Night Court. Probably nearing the end of its run because it was pushed to, like, a weird Wednesday night slot.
Ooh, we love Night Court.
And then it had to be paired up with Seinfeld, which was kind of like the struggling newerish type show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Night Court was definitely on the way out. Seinfeld was up in the up and up, but we did not know it. We did not know it would become a mega hit at this point in time. NBC didn't know what they had on its hands.
Nobody could have predicted Seinfeld.
We'll get into Seinfeld, but we have one more show to discuss. Quantum Leap.
Okay.
Which aired after Seinfeld. It was about a guy, Scott Bakula played, his name was Sam, right?
I think so, yes.
And he traveled through time, he hopped into people's bodies, he leapt into them, and he had to, like, save their lives or make a difference or, I don't know, like, change the past, maybe?
Yeah, like, fix something to make the world a better place. This is what you get when you mess with the time-space continuum. You have to hop in and out of people's bodies and fix stuff.
And then it had, like, a weird, like, mythology, like a long ongoing arc to it.
Well, yeah, because he was trying to, like, hop home, and it's like, he had no control over who he was hopping into. That sounds so wrong.
Like, he would wake up and he would be, like, in the civil rights movement. Then the next episode, he was, like, the guy who invented the Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I wasn't a huge fan. I'm gonna just throw it out there.
Like, I'm gonna say my mom watched it, but I totally did not.
All right, and that was the night. That was October 30th, 1991, bringing us into Halloween.
You know how much we love Halloween.
All right, so the parking garage. What an episode! It's a bottle episode. The gang is trapped in a parking garage.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I think we've all been, like, in a parking garage and we're like, where the hell did we park?
Yes, that still happens to me on almost, like, a weekly basis. Not even in a parking garage, like in a parking lot.
Yeah, there are times I'm like, I go to Walmart, I'm like, okay, what row are we in? So that, like, I have some idea. But, like, when I would go to the Mall of America, I'd always have to be like, okay, am I in Hawaii or am I in Virginia?
Oh, they would have states?
Yeah, it's all, like, divided into states. You're like, what section am I in? Am I in Hawaii 5 or Hawaii 25?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of, like, the way everything's numbered. So what I do now is, so when I'm in a parking garage now that I have, like, a cell phone with camera, I take a picture of the sign. Mm-hmm. So that way I don't, like, when I'm walking back, I'm like, was I in yellow F3 or green F3? Like, so I don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's what I would do when I would go to the Mall of America. We'd, like, take a picture and be like, okay, this is where we're parked.
To try to, like, get an idea. But things weren't so easy for for Elaine, Jerry, George, and Kramer. Things were very difficult for them.
No, because it's 1991 and this technology does not exist at all.
It's a Saturday afternoon, and I guess they go to Jersey. They cross the bridge and go to New Jersey.
Yes, they go to Jersey because there is a sale on air conditioners, and they all want a brand new air conditioner. Kramer is the only one who ends up with an air conditioner. They were that was the last one. He got the last one.
Yeah, they got there. It was probably like a fire sale. It was October, so it was probably like left over from the summer. They had like probably like 4 or 5 air conditioners left. They were on clearance. Whatever store they went to was like pushing these. And the box is all beat up. As soon as they show Kramer like walking down the stairs with it, the box is beat up. So like 100 people have looked at this and been like, "Do I want this?" No, and they like taped the box back up.
Yeah, it's the box that was probably like pushed around. Everybody got dropped on top of it.
Yeah, it went to the stockroom, went to the floor, back to the stockroom, back to the floor. Someone probably actually brought it home, and then they were like, "You know what? I don't like the way it works." They brought it back to the store. The store like just put it back on the floor. Mm-hmm. And air conditioners, like window units, aren't that light. So Kramer's like walking around this. You can like see him clearly struggling.
Yes, and the best part is it is an actual air conditioner in the box because Michael Richards wanted the struggle.
He wanted that sense of realism on the show.
Yes.
I could see Larry David pushing for that too.
Keep it real?
Yeah, keep it real. Keep it real with Larry David. So they're walking down the stairwell and they open up the door. Kramer is like having the hard ass time. And then they're in the lot and they're all just kind of like looking around. Kramer seems like he knows where he's going, but then Jerry's looking the other way and he's like, "No, I thought we were over here." And Kramer's like, "No, we're over here." And then like Jerry's like, "Oh shit, we don't know where we parked."
Yeah, like none of them have any clue where they parked. There's 4 of them and they can't agree at all where they parked. And Elaine's got this fish in a plastic bag.
She's got 2 goldfish in a plastic bag that she like they were probably like walking by a pet store. And goldfish are cheap. They're like, what, 99 cents each or something?
Something like that, yeah. It's just like, okay, it's like the total impulse buy. They're not going to survive long.
And I love that she just bought the fish. She didn't buy like a tank or like a bowl or food.
That's right. She didn't. She just had the fish.
It's like, so I'm like, does she have an aquarium at home that she's going to add them to? Does she have like fin flakes at home? Like what? Like what?
Maybe it was something she had at her office. She like had little goldfish at her desk or something.
As soon as they realize that they can't find the car, Elaine like makes a comment, and this like bothered me for the rest of the episode. So she's like, "How long do fish live in like a little plastic baggie?" And they're all like 2 hours, and it confused the hell out of me because I'm like, wait, I feel like it's longer than that.
Yeah, they probably can, depending on how healthy they are in the first place.
Yeah, I think like the big concern is just the temperature of the water because like it's a small amount of water and the water's either going to get warm or cold depending on the time of year.
Yeah, maybe.
So Elaine's worried because her fish's going to die in her. George has like dinner and theater plans with his parents that night.
Yes, he's got to it's their anniversary, so he's got to be because he's like the only kid that lives near them.
Yeah, he's kind of like the mama's boy.
George is the kid who lives near the parents, so he's got to do stuff with them, take them out.
And I think it's like a special event. It's like their anniversary, I think.
Yeah, it's their anniversary.
And we know George's parents, so we know how maniacal they are. And they're going to hold this against him forever if he misses this.
Yes, I love George's parents.
They established that it's like a little after 4 o'clock and he has to be back home by 6 o'clock. And it just kind of bothered me. I was like, why would you risk going all the way to Jersey and then expect to be back in time for this? Knowing like how New York traffic can be awful at times.
At times,
all the time.
It takes forever to get into New York City from Jersey.
Actually, I think even Jerry even says that in this episode. He's like, that there's always traffic in New York City. Like it's Saturday afternoon, like picnic traffic. People have picnics on Saturday. Like that's the illusion that he creates in his mind.
Like there's just it could be like a 20-mile trip and it takes you 3 hours because of the traffic.
We do know that George is not the best person when it comes to time management or management of any fashion. So
no, it's George. You his parents should just be lucky he even thought to come up with something.
Yeah, they were probably chilling at Monk's Diner and they were probably reading the flyer for the store in Jersey that had the sale on air conditioners, and they're like, "Let's go!" And George is not even thinking, hops in the car. Gets all the way there, and that's when he remembers that he has that theater plans with his parents.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, fuck, what'd I get into? And now he's going to have to hear about it from the rest of his life. He's just going to get yelled at. They're going to call him up in the middle of the night. Like, anytime he's even, like, remotely late for something, it's going to be, Georgie, it's like that time you didn't show up for our anniversary dinner theater.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And that's why George is bald.
Exactly. His parents drove him crazy that he pulled out all his hair.
Yeah, because Frank definitely has a full head of hair. He didn't prematurely go bald.
Well, you know it's from the mother's side of the family.
Oh, you're right. And then Jerry's conundrum in the story is that he has to pee, and there apparently is like no bathrooms anywhere.
Yes, I love that. I love that his is just so simple. It's just that he needs to pee.
And, like, he could go back into the mall, but he comments that, like, he walked through that whole mall and did not see a bathroom anywhere, which bathrooms sometimes in malls are hard to find.
They usually are. Like, I was just thinking about it, is they're usually, like, off the food court.
Down a hallway, like a long hallway that, like, leads to nothing.
Down a hallway. Or they're, like, right by the entrance doors. Like, just kind of, like, hidden off to the side.
It's not, like, in plain sight. It's usually, like, the hallway or the door to get to the bathrooms is, like, in between two stores. And you might not notice it.
It'll be in between, like, the JCPenney's and the nail salon.
Yeah, and you're not going to notice it because you're going to see all the signs from JCPenney and, like, all the mannequins and the big signs saying everything.
All the
like,
now hiring, even though we're going to close in 3 weeks, signs.
And then the nail salon will have, like, a lot of signs. Like,
eyebrow waxing!
So it's just, like, you miss the bathroom and you keep going. And then you're like, or you might see it and you're going to go, you know what? I'm going to go to the next one for some reason because you want to go to the one that's closer to the Best Buy that you're going to.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you never find it. Then you can't find your way back to, like, your entrance.
And it's not like you look at the mall map on the thing, and you can never figure out where you are.
Oh yeah, like in the stand up like opening, Jerry like comments on this. Mm-hmm. He's just saying like you look at the mall directory, like you see that you are here, you see that the store you need to go to is way up there, and it's just like you're trying to figure out the layout of the mall in your mind, and you can't do it.
Yeah. Oh my god, the most confusing mall layout is the Mall of America for me. Like, just trying to figure out, like, what level you're even on.
Oh, yeah.
What you're doing, like, where you're supposed to be going, where you're trying, like, okay, I want to just find the freaking Forever 21. Where the hell is it?
The first, like, 15 years of my life, I always went to a one-level mall. It was shaped like a plus sign, so it was very simple. Like, you knew what corridor you had to go down. Then, like, all of a sudden, like, mid-90s, late 90s, they built a new mall. Or actually, they expanded on an existing mall.
Okay.
They added, like, a new level to it. They added new hallways. So now you had, like, multi-levels, and there was just escalators, elevators, different wings to go down, and it was not shaped in an easy navigational way. Let's just say that.
I'm actually, like, thinking of the malls I went to in New Jersey as a kid, and I couldn't even tell you what they were shaped like.
Were they multi-leveled?
But they were, like, always multi-level, and, you know, you'd always have to go up and down the escalators. And
yeah. Like, you would be at, like, Macy's, and you want to try to find the men's department, and it's, like, it's on the 4th floor, and you don't even know what floor you're on, because, like, sometimes you go, the entrance that you go in, like, you're in the parking garage, so you're not even sure what level you're on.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think that's part of, like, the gang's problem, is they don't know exactly where they got on.
Where they are. And there's 4 of them, and I totally understand this problem. I'm just gonna throw this out there. So let's just say I'm with, like, 3 other people, and we go to the mall, and we park in the parking garage. I'm just going to assume that someone knows where we parked, and I'm just not even going to pay attention to anything. I'm just going to go, all right, we're here. I know we're in a parking garage, and I know we're driving, like, a red Honda. That's all I know.
Yeah, it's like, what car are we in?
And then I'm just going to follow the person in front of me. And then when we're coming back, they're going to ask me, they're going to go, oh shit, where did I park? And I'll go, I don't know. I just assumed you knew because you were driving. Like, I figured, like, that's your responsibility as the driver. You have to know where you parked.
I don't want that responsibility.
Yeah, I'm just like the rider on the storm right here. Just following your coattails. Like, I probably didn't even want to go to the mall in the first place.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go for, like, the liquid lunch that we did that afternoon.
Like, I'm here for the chicken wings from the Hooters.
People will be like, oh, like, do you want to go to, like, Kohl's with me? And I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Can we go to TGI Fridays after and get a margarita? And they're like, sure. I'm like, down for it. And then, like, we're in Kohl's and I'm not even thinking about shopping. I'm just thinking about the margaritas I want right now. Should I get the ultimate margarita? The classic margarita? Frozen on the rocks? Am I in mood for mozzarella sticks today? Of course I am, but what do I want to complement it with?
Patrick, you are always in the mood for mozzarella sticks.
I am. And I feel like that's what Elaine was probably doing. Like, she probably, like, because I don't see her, like, really hang out with Jerry, Kramer, and George, like, at the mall, but she's like just going along for the ride.
She's like, I got nothing better to do. It's this, or I have to go see some baby.
Yeah, like one of her dumb gal pals has a baby, and she's like, all right, I'll just go to the mall. It'll be fun. We can like make fun of people because like her and Jerry together, they have that like that fun factor to them.
They have that like great little banter that they have together.
And Jerry's a comedian, so he's very observational. So he probably like sees things and he comments on them, and then Elaine adds to it. So she went along for the fun. She got 2 goldfish out of it.
I mean, it's better than you have to come see the baby.
They come up with this idea, like, you know what? Let's ask a stranger drive us around the parking lot, and then we can like find our car faster that way.
That would never occur to me to ask.
No, one, I would be afraid I would get murdered or kidnapped.
Exactly.
And 2, if anyone ever came up to me and asked me that, I would do what all those people did. They'd walk away, they ignored them, or they just flat out said no.
Well, because again, you're afraid you're going to get murdered.
Like, I've been like in a parking lot and people are like, oh, can you like come over here and like help me jumpstart my car? And I just keep walking. I just pretend I don't hear them. Or like, oh, like hold on, I'm on my phone or something.
I gotta go.
Yeah, like I'm late for work. I'm a doctor. I have like a surgery to perform.
Dr. Green needs me in the ER.
And it's like then like the one time you actually like do help somebody, you get murdered. So yeah, that's why I don't help people. Shout out to not helping people.
And you know what? I feel like this episode, because there's like the kid getting yelled at by the mom, and George tries to like intervene. I feel like this really sets up their attitudes later on, like in the finale, where they stand back and they don't help somebody.
Like their cynicism. Mm-hmm. In the final episode, they are in like a small town in Massachusetts, and they see a guy getting like carjacked, and they just commentate the situation. No one helps them, and they get arrested for it, and they have to go to jail for a year.
Yeah.
In this episode, they try to reach out to people. Like, they need help, and no one helps them. So, yeah, so I guess this is where they stems from.
I think this is kind of like the building block that builds towards that. It's like, okay, fine. We try to help people, and we get, like, shit on.
That's a wonderful observation. I didn't pick up on that.
Thank you.
And it's kind of weird, too, because, like, as you said, there's that woman that's, like, yelling at the kid. And then, like, George sees this, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to say something. And the little boy calls George ugly. And hold on, was that the boy who plays Francis on Malcolm in the Middle? It's
the little boy from Picket Fences.
Oh, okay. I was like, I know him from somewhere, and I'm like, is that Francis from Malcolm in the Middle? He probably would have been like that age around that time.
I didn't even have to research that. I just know that.
The only research that I did this week, because this kind of like is what happens next, is so there's a girl named Michelle. Like they keep seeing her in the parking lot.
Yeah, and Jerry, like, keeps pointing her out to George, like, hey, Georgie, go after that one.
Yeah, and George doesn't want to do it. He's like, you know what, every time, like, I even, like, start to approach a girl, it ends horrible.
Okay, do not try and pick women up in a parking garage.
Doesn't George say that? Doesn't he say something like, that's not, like, an okay place to, like, try to pick up a woman is in a parking garage?
I think he does.
And Jerry's like, yeah, I guess you're right. But they keep seeing her. So, like, George, I think, finally, like, grows the courage to say something to her. And it goes awry. One thing I wanted to point out, though, that's problematic is Jerry was, like, promoting, like, in a way, catcalling here. Like, he made it seem like that it was an okay thing to do. Like, George, this is the second time we've seen her. It's fate. No, just because you see a person twice does not mean you have to approach them and, like, throw yourselves at them.
Exactly.
And it's like, you know what, you're in a mall, you're in a parking garage, you're a woman, you're alone, you're probably nervous that there's just, like, strangers everywhere. It's dark. And now you have this, like, weirdly shaped ball guy follow you around.
Yeah, and every time you turn around, there's this other weird guy with, like, an air conditioner. Like, no.
And then you have other people that are, like, peeing behind cars.
Yeah, yes, because Jerry, eventually the group, like, breaks up to try and find the car because that's gonna work.
No, it doesn't work. George, like, prophetically predicts that, you know what, they're all gonna split up. One person's gonna find the car, and then they're gonna, like, have to try to, like, corral everyone individually, and it's gonna be impossible to do.
Exactly, and that just doesn't work. Jerry gets, like, busted for peeing. He didn't even, like, pee.
He started to, I think, right?
Yeah, like, he was getting ready to pee. And the security guard busts him, like, right there.
Jerry's trying to come up with, like, the story to, like, talk his way out of it. He makes up, like, a weird, like, urine disease he has.
uromyositis.
which he has to like make him pee all the time, and he could die if he doesn't pee.
Yeah.
Then he like realizes that the guard's not buying that, so he like goes with George's actual story where it's his parents' anniversary, and then George gets caught peeing too, and George uses the same like excuse.
Same story. It is amazing. It's one of those just great moments.
But back to the catcalling incident. So they convince George to finally like say something to this woman. She responds to it. She allows them in her car, which is weird. Because she's like, oh my God, it's happened to me before. I've walked around this same parking garage like months ago. No one would help me find my car, so I had to walk around. It took me hours. I will gladly let all four of you in my car. Actually, it was three of them. I don't think Kramer was there.
No, it was just three of them. Because I think it was after they got out of the security guard's office.
And they ran into Elaine, and her fish had died.
Yeah.
So they're riding around the parking garage, and we don't know what is said, but we just see the car come to a screeching halt. Everyone gets kicked out of the car because I guess this woman, Michelle, was a Scientologist. Yes. George apparently said something that offended her, like about Scientology.
Yes, I would love to know what George actually said.
Yes. So I was like so curious about this. So I was like, wow, like we get like a knock at Scientology in 1991. And I was way too young. I was like 10 years old, so I wasn't aware of what Scientology was.
Yeah, definitely didn't know what Scientology was when I was 10.
So I wanted to look this up. I just wanted to like kind of like see, like get my finger on the pulse, see what was going on. So I did a little Google searching about Scientology and Jerry Seinfeld. And I was shocked. Like I almost like fell out of my chair when I read this. So like in 2008-ish, Jerry Seinfeld was being interviewed for the Bee Movie, like the movie about bees that he did. And he revealed like that, like, I don't know, in the 80s or something like that, he took a Scientology class, which is, I guess, a thing you can take.
Yeah, you can take this is how they like try to get you in.
How they lure you in.
They offer these classes that you can take that are supposed to help your communication and your self-esteem, etc. And because it's like it's that first stepping stone to get you in to take more and more and spend more money.
So it's kind of like Dianetics 101.
Yeah.
What's the deal with Dianetics? So Jerry Seinfeld dabbled in Scientology in the 80s, and he liked it. Like, he actually liked what they had to promote. Because I guess they're into, like, technology and modernism, like, as a way to promote their religion.
They're flashy. They use what science they have, what technology they have, I guess. Most of it's pretty, like... From what I understand, most of the communication stuff is just basics that they package nicely. It's probably like the same thing you can get in how to make friends and influence people.
Yeah, they make it seem like it's very high-tech and futuristic.
Yeah, he didn't get that far into it. He didn't get like, I'm spending millions of dollars.
Yes, because I think like Jerry admitted that he was like impressed by the idea of Scientology. Like he dabbled in it for a little bit, but then he just decided like it wasn't for him, and he just like gracefully backed out. But I think he didn't get like too far into it where
this is like long before he was a celebrity.
Yeah, and like he was like recruiting people, and they were like hiring him to go to those like celebrity centers to like bring people in. He wasn't holding up signs with John Travolta and Tom Cruise and like trying to find like a Scientology wife. But he did dabble in it, and I'm guessing that it kind of like stuck with his mind because him and Larry David incorporated it into this episode. So like I'm kind of curious. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like a very early Scientology hit.
I wonder if it's even like the first knock at Scientology.
I doubt it's like the first.
Yeah, I'd like to know like Larry David's feelings on it, because he obviously put this line in the episode. Like I want to know his experiences. If only he could call in and let us know. Larry David, if you hear this episode, tweet us at Very Podcast and tell us what your thoughts are. Like what your thought process was during the making of this episode.
Yes.
Please.
We have questions and we would like some answers.
So when they get out of the car, when they get out of Michelle's car, it just so happens to be right in front of Kramer's car, because Kramer drove.
Yeah.
And Kramer is nowhere to be found. And George was like, I knew it. As soon as we found the car, one of us is going to be missing, and it's Kramer, and he's the one with the keys, the one with the power to drive us home. But like a few minutes later, he shows up, because I guess he found the car, but then he had to try to find the air conditioner.
He found the car, but he had put the air conditioner down somewhere.
In front of Purple 23.
Yeah, so that he could freely walk around the parking garage to find the car.
they turn the car on and like they see the clock and it says like 7:15, and Kramer's like, "What time are we supposed to be at your house at?" And he's like 6:15. He's like, "I don't think you made it." And George is like, "You think?" and that's where Kramer's car would not start.
And the best part about that is that was a total fluke. The car was supposed to start, and they were supposed to drive off.
Oh, and it's like the actual car that they were using did not start?
Yes.
Damn. That is something that would happen to Larry David in real life.
Yeah, it's totally exactly what would happen.
Cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm music right there. It's considered a classic episode. As I said, it's a bottle episode. It's very similar to the Chinese restaurant episode.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. It's relatable because it happens to you.
Yeah, because there's not there's not heavy plot. It's just all like conversation and jokes that just kind of string together.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that like you would do with your friends. These are the kind of conversations you would have with your friends. These are the kinds of conversations we have. Can we be real? Let's be honest. I am Elaine.
I'm Elaine. I want to be Elaine. Fuck you.
No, I'm Elaine.
You can be fucking Jerry if you want. I don't care.
You're Jerry. Steven is George.
Jerry is was always my least favorite character on Seinfeld.
Really?
All right, this is my level of how I like people, and it's changed over the years, but this is where I stand right now. It goes Elaine, George, Kramer, Jerry.
For me, it'd be Elaine, Jerry, Kramer, George.
So that's Seinfeld. Like, we broke into Seinfeld. Like, I think we should definitely do another episode of Seinfeld, like a later episode of Seinfeld.
Yes, we're gonna have to. I mean, Seinfeld is like one of my absolute favorite shows. I still watch it. Like, I can watch it and not feel like, oh my god, I already saw this one, whatever.
I'm sure we don't even have to, like, explain Seinfeld. If we have to explain Seinfeld, then just, like, listen to another podcast, please. All right, shall we talk about what we're doing next week? Are you ready for what we're doing next week?
I have no idea if I'm ready for what we're doing next week.
All right, so this is something that we've talked about in passing over the last year. It's come up in other episodes. We haven't fully gotten in depth to it, but we're finally going to do it. It's a TV special. It aired in the early 90s. It involves saving the planet. Involves pretty much like hundreds of celebrities that you know and love, from Gina Davis to Robin Williams.
The Fresh Prince.
Like Bugs Bunny's in it. Queen Latifah, I think, is in it.
Yeah, Queen Latifah, The Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Mayim Bialik, Jonathan Brandis, Doogie Howser.
Not the actor, like Neil Patrick Harris.
Not Neil Patrick Harris, but Doogie Howser.
Bette Midler plays Mother Earth.
Barbara Streisand shows up.
Yeah, it's great. So we're doing the 1990 Earth Day special, which wanted to save the planet with stars.
Hashtag shower with friends.
And I urge you to watch it. You can find it on YouTube. Just Google Earth Day special. It's like an hour long, right?
Maybe an hour and a half.
It might be an hour and a half. It's just weird little vignettes that are like interconnected by the idea of saving the planet. It's much better than Captain Planet.
Yes.
It is wild. So find it on YouTube. Watch it this weekend. Pop some popcorn. Get yourself a nice big glass of Chardonnay.
Yeah, get your glass of wine, sit back, watch this. And then you guys have to tweet me your reaction to Kevin Costner and Meryl Streep. It's amazing.
Great. So join us next week on a very special podcast. Find us on averyspecialpodcast.com, Twitter at Very Podcast. We also have an Instagram, A Very Special Podcast. Make sure you put the A there. And Pinterest is somewhere. We don't know where it is.
We don't know.
But it's there. We have a board. We have like a Pinterest board. I think there's like 2 recipes on there for like...
There's probably more than
like
that.
A sangria. There's like a sangria recipe. And then I think like I made bear bread one time.
Yeah, this one time.
So find it if you can. If you find it, definitely tweet us a link because we want to try to know where it is. And as always, cats.
Bye.
That was me doing the Seinfeld theme.